Hey Swifties! Welcome to a brand new episode of Swiftie School, where together we walk Clownery Street covering the latest news and Easter eggs from our fearless leader, Taylor Swift. I'm your host, Reagan Bailey, and it is enchanting to have you here. Now that we're out of the woods, let's get into today's episode.
It's another great day to be alive at the same time as Taylor Swift. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Reagan, and you are listening to Swiftie School. I need that little Disney wand. If you're around my age, you definitely remember that. But anywho, welcome to the podcast. As always, this is not an affiliation with Taylor Swift or Taylor Nation. It is just an expression of my thoughts and opinions. I feel like we need to catch up because we are officially getting the anthology vinyl. We are getting an Eras Tour book, ? We've got the Miami shows, the NOLA shows. We're clowning for 12/13. Clowning kind of feels like it's dead. There's just a lot happening. A lot, but also nothing at the same time. Capiche? Are we all on the same page with that? Let's go ahead and just talk about the strategy behind the drop or announcement of the Eras Tour book and anthology, because what the actual heck is going on? I feel like a book was the last thing on anybody's radar, truly. I feel like we've been talking about a documentary for so long, something behind the scenes, a new music video, obviously Reputation, Debutation, Debut, new outfits, but a book. A book really felt like, did we miss the signs? Like, did anybody pick up on any sort of Easter eggs or clues relating to a book? Because I most certainly did not. That being said, I think it'll be incredibly exciting because I just know in my bones that that book will be absolutely littered with Easter eggs and clues. I mean, the fact that there's 256 pages, obviously 2 + 5 + 6 = 13, that's a given at this point. Like, nothing surprises me there. But I'm curious to see the choice of the images, the blurbs that she does give us, what it'll lead us into. I want to know how long ago she worked on the book. Like, was this, it seems mostly like a picture book, if I'm being fully honest. And I'm hoping we're not going to be let down, like camping outside of Target on Thanksgiving night with our turkey and pie. I think it'll be exciting just to have like fun Swiftie energy nonetheless. But I'm curious, like, how many blurbs and little statements are we going to have from her? Are we going to get any insight into how far in advance they worked on the tour? I've always wanted to ask the question, is the Lover set just a regurgitation of what was supposed to be used or happen at Loverfest? So many questions. I'm sure we will get answers to some of them and not answers to a lot of them. It'll be equal. But my question to you guys is, are you camping out outside? Are you doing a Target pickup order? Are you ordering online or attempting to order online and hoping for the best? Do we really think there are limited quantities, or do you think 3 weeks after you're still going to be able to get it at Target? These are the questions that are kind of swirling around my Patreon group right now. And speaking of Patreon, my last episode that I put up while I was in Nashville was actually a sneak peek of some of the perks that my Patreon offers. So I do bonus episodes over my Patreon every month, and the bonus episode that went up for October was actually with one of the Patreon members. And if you listened to the last episode, you were familiar with Cassie and her story, who was in a Taylor Swift music video. So if you enjoyed that guest or any of the guests that I've been having on the podcast recently, please let me know so I can continue doing them. And of course, if you like the bonus episode, that is just a sneak peek of all the content and bonus content that's been going up for months and months and months that you will have access to should you choose to join Patreon at patreon.com/Swiftie School. Now, we've got the anthology coming on vinyl and CD. Fine of freakingly. I mean, I think we kind of let that ship sail. And then Taylor was like, haha, I'm back. In true Taylor fashion. But the thing I really want to talk to you guys about in terms of the anthology coming on vinyl is the fact that we are getting it 224 days after the release of Tortured Poets Department. The reason 224 is interesting, now that I'm thinking of it, isn't the countdown clock at the beginning of the Eras Tour 2 minutes and 24 seconds? I think it is. Interesting. Which, as we know, 224 is a double of 112. And if you are a longtime believer of the 112-day theory, this is interesting. Because, I say this, we've got Tortured Poets Department on April 19th. 224 days later, we are getting the anthology and release of the book on Black Friday. 112 days after we get the anthology and the Eras Tour book brings us to Friday, March 21st. And if you were to write the date, how we do in America, that would be 3, 2, 1. Now, do I think that there is a possibility, Reputation, if it didn't come in 2024, that it would be highly likely it would come on March 21st? Probably. More interestingly, we were talking in my Patreon group about the Friday the 13th. What is happening on that date? Now that we are so far into fall at this point, I know it's like still early fall, but it's in terms of like marketing perspective. If she was going to be marketing an album and releasing re-records and all that jazz, I think it would have happened by now. Like, I think I'm kind of shocked, honestly, it hasn't, which leads me to think perhaps the last show, what is it, Toronto or Vancouver? I keep getting them mixed up. The last show on December 8th, we could get something and then a double announcement or double drop situation on December 13th. My gut is telling me if it's anything, it's going to be a double announcement on 12/13, but I'll leave it with that. I want to hear your thoughts. Are you excited? Are you kind of like meh about the book? Do you feel like it's fun to have? My thought is, even if the book is like meh and it's just mostly pictures, we're obviously the Eras Tour is coming to a close and we're not going to be able to experience the sort of like Swiftum getting together, rallying together sort of situation until hopefully the next tour, which who knows when that'll be. So I'm happy to camp out in the shivering cold with a piece of turkey and cranberry sauce and call it an afternoon or an evening with you guys at the Target, the local Target, which I will say my Target is a little bit sketch. It's not sketchy. The area around it is a little meh. So it'll be a time nonetheless. Now, Miami is in the books and so is NOLA, and we're heading into the final US city, which is Indianapolis. I have been absolutely loving all of the stops that these cities are pulling out in terms of the Swiftivities. I mean, I think New Orleans takes the cake. I saw more local decor in New Orleans than I had ever seen. I mean, obviously I'm seeing it through social media, but you guys tell me who was there. If you guys agree, if you've gone to any other shows and if you feel like New Orleans went all out. I mean, it looked insane. Like the entire Bourbon Street was taken over by Swifties singing All Too Well. That's a personal fever dream. I mean, I would love to transport and experience that. But Miami took the cake in terms of the rain shows. We got 2 rain shows in Miami, and I'm so excited for Taylor because we all know how much a rain show means to her and how much she loves it. And the reason I'm so excited that it happened in Miami is because this was the last possible chance for the Eras Tour to have rain shows. All of the remaining stadiums all have roofs. So night 1 and night 3, we saw what I would deem some of the rainiest rain shows of the Eras Tour. It just amped up the theatrical element, and now that Taylor is so seasoned at the Eras Tour, I feel like she was able to just like totally lean in and have fun with it in true Taylor fashion. But to my surprise, guys, I'm gonna be honest, I was like pretty skeptical of Florence coming out in Miami because I just thought it was so wild that she was doing it in London, and I'm like, will she really fly to Florida? Will she really do it? Let alone doing it all 3 nights in Florida. Obviously, you could say like that's probably the easiest of Easter eggs to crack of all time, that she's gonna shockingly sing Florida in Florida. But I was surprised Florence, and I thought she would still do it, but I didn't think Florence would actually pop up all 3 nights. So that was really fun, and I honestly feel in my gut that, I mean, I'm jumping ahead to New Orleans, but with Sabrina coming out and Taylor just kind of doing, it just feels unhinged, and I feel like we're diving into unhinged territory because we have less than 13 shows left. We have I think it's 12 shows. I feel like we're going to have a lot of these moments, kind of like the Sabrina moment where Taylor might sing random songs. She might be like, this isn't my song, but I love it, or I've always dreamed of singing this song on stage. Here it is, and it's just like some random Bon Jovi song or something. So fingers crossed for unhinged clownery to happen. But I want to take you back to Miami because this is where we saw a plethora of new outfits. We've got the Fearless short blue dress. We've got the silver noodle dress. We also have the Speak Now blue square neck ball gown situation. Obviously, the new rep bodysuit. We'll get back to that in a minute. And then the surprise song dress, the pink and blue sort of beta fish dress, the shimmery purple one. And then for Midnights, we have the new sequin t-shirt dress with a little bit more of like a silvery blue tint situation happening. The rep bodysuit, let's talk about it. I am not surprised. It's about dang time. And it feels like with her dabbling into like the debutation songs and the references back to the, what is it, Look What You Made Me Do music video where Taylor has 3 snake rings, 1 gold, 1 red, and 1 silver. I'm almost wondering, I never ever thought that we would get, I kind of thought she would kind of keep the same bodysuit the whole time or save it until Rep actually came. But the fact that she did switch it towards the end of the tour now makes me think Reputation's not coming until after the conclusion of the tour, or I say the crazy thing of possibly a third bodysuit coming into play or a third outfit entirely coming into play. If she were to announce Reputation before the end of the tour, I think she'll do it in a totally new outfit. I don't know. I'm still crossing my fingers for Karen the Snake to make a return. Karen's her name, right? That big blow-up snake from Reputation. But there it is. We've got new outfits. The Eras Tour was back in Miami. We had the TTPD dress with the mic pack malfunction where they had to like totally unzip her dress, fix her microphone, and then zip it back up. But the most interesting clownery, in my opinion, to come out of Miami shows was night 2. Night 2 was October 19th, and during her 22 performance, she flashed 5-5, her hands 2 times with all 5 fingers, instead of 22, which could have totally been a flub, but knowing Taylor, everything is intentional. And the fact that 55 days, 5-5, 55 days from night 2 of Miami, 10/19, is December 13th, her birthday, it just makes sense. Something is happening. I think we've all set this in stone, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what I have planned up my sleeve yet for Taylor's birthday, but if you are local to Los Angeles or going to be in the Los Angeles area on December 13th, I do have something very, very fun planned. So stay tuned for that. Now, this was where we got our first debutation teaser, night 2 surprise song. We got a mashup of Should Have Said No and I Did Something Bad. Really excited for the crowd that they got to hear I Did Something Bad because it was absolutely wild and crazy when I got to hear that in London. And then it was night 3 of NOLA that we got the 10-year anniversary of 1989 surprise song mashup with How You Get the Girl and Clean. Now let's go ahead and jump to Caesars Superdome, located in New Orleans, most notably the friendship bracelet on the outside of the stadium. Absolutely iconic. I would love to know what they're going to do with said blow-up friendship bracelet, but very, very, very cute. And it's funny, I think during NOLA shows, Taylor mentioned she wrote this one line in a song, Make the Friendship Bracelet, and it's like exploded this entire bead industry. I saw an article, and if I can find it, I'll put it in the description for you guys, saying that Michael's, the craft store, it was either Michael's or Joann's, the craft store, is donating something like 5 million beads to one of the Canada dates for the tour because they're doing some sort of like Taylor Gate friendship bracelet situation, and they were gifting like something like 5 million beads. Can you imagine the payday that it is to be a bead manufacturer in the era of Taylor Swift? They went from like barely anything, little crafts here and there, to literally every girl and their mom and boy and their parents beating it up for the past 2 years, which is totally great and iconic. Sabrina Carpenter came out, which I think was honestly the last person I would have expected. I think that pretty much everybody's on the same page of like, we're patiently waiting for Post Malone to finally come out. And now that his tour has concluded, there is the possibility that he could pop out. Do I think it could happen in Indy? Maybe, but the rumor swirling right now on social media is that perhaps Katy Perry might be the surprise guest in Indy, which would be interesting. From like a marketing perspective, Katy Perry's album was an absolute flop. I don't think it performed well at all. It wasn't my personal favorite, so I could see Katy going for it in terms of like wanting to get some good press. It would also be a really fun, like empowering girl moment, being that they had the little olive branch situation, etc., etc. I wasn't expecting Sabrina. I was not expecting Sabrina, but now it makes me wonder, like, will she bring out Gracie and will they sing Us together before the tour ends at some point? I don't know. Anything is possible, but I want to know from you guys, especially if you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment and let me know your dream Eras Tour guest in the final 12 shows. Like, do you think there's going to be a guest every night? Are we done with guests? What are your thoughts? Tell me everything. The last note that I have for you guys tonight or today is Taylor has been being filmed. So it leaves me with the thought of Tree Payne, Taylor's publicist, not too long ago made a statement, or we think it's Tree because the only person talking to the press on Taylor's behalf is Tree, let's be real. Tree Payne made a statement that Taylor, it was something like addressing the fact that Taylor and Travis were still together and that Taylor is working on new music, focusing on her career, hopes to put out new music soon. That could have been a blanket general statement that she kind of keeps in her back pocket, but I don't think she would say that unless it was intentional. So Taylor's working on new music, coupled with the fact that Taylor has been being filmed pretty much nonstop for the past, Miami and New Orleans shows. There's been boom mics around her. You can even see in that Instagram post that she casually put up in the yellow shirt with the jeans, holding her cat, that there was microphones and cameras in the background. So all that to say, I don't want to say I'm excited for the Eras Tour to end, but I'm excited for what is to come because I think that we are going to have either a Netflix series or I guess it'll be on Disney Plus probably. We're going to get some sort of series from Taylor, start to finish, the Eras Tour, the making of the Eras Tour, the behind the scenes of the Eras Tour, whatever it might be. But I kind of had this inkling that it's going to probably go into theaters because of how well the Eras Tour film did in theaters. So I could see it going in theaters or doing like a weekend premiere or something like that. And then I could see her also wanting to own it the way that she did with her Eras Tour film versus like selling it off to one of the different streaming platforms. Do I think there'll be like some big massive premiere for it? I don't know, but I feel in my heart of hearts that she'll probably not release this until sometime in like 2025. I think that the hype will die down if she waits any longer than like it coming out at the end of next year. My guess is summer of 2025. That way it's kind of spaced out from like the start of the Eras Tour and kind of what began like the Eras Tour hype 2 summers before. So that's my prediction. I'm excited for what's to come in Indy. These cities are going all freaking out. Indy has been posting so many fun teasers. Like I'm talking about Indy as if it's a person. Indy, the city, Indianapolis, they have been going all out. I saw like a Formula One car all decked out in Taylor gear, all that jazz. If you are attending those shows, I'm so excited for you. I am absolutely feeling FOMO. That's all I have for you today. I think that we're in for a treat. That's what my gut is telling me. I mean, we've already been getting treats here and there, left and right, up, down, in the stage, out the stage, from all the outfits, surprise guests. I think we're in for a wild ride, and I'm excited to take that ride with you guys. So that's all I have for you today. As always, drop some comments below. What are you clowning for right now? What's the latest scoop? Where are our heads at? Are we just soaking it in? Are you guys trying to get tickets? I feel like we're all trying to like fight for these last couple million tickets that are available. I mean, the prices are just absolutely astronomical. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I cannot see a single ticket under like $3,000, even obstructed view. They've added fully behind the stage tickets for some of the Canada shows, and they are still $1,500. Like you have zero visibility. $1,500. Absolutely insane. Anyways, manifesting tickets for us, manifesting a solid Halloween weekend for you, and lots of fun to come. Okay? I'm ready for it. Are you ready for it? Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. I know all too well how busy life can be, and I am so grateful that you chose to stay. Now just know this is me trying, and I would greatly appreciate if you took a minute to leave a review or maybe share this episode with a fellow Swiftie. Make sure you join my broadcast channel on Instagram for more Swiftivities, and long story short, this love is real, and I'm beyond grateful for your support. See you next time.